I'm your host and medium, Angela McClellan. Welcome to a special series here on Divinely Connected Podcast, where we will be featuring one-on-one readings connecting my listeners, just like you, with their departed loved ones. In each session, I extend a sacred connection where messages from the other side can be received, understood, and cherished. I believe that every encounter is divinely led, and through these intimate connections, not only do we open the door for messages from the other side, but we also invite healing into our heart. Each session serves as a reminder that our loved ones are still with us, guiding us, and offering their unconditional love from beyond what our eyes can see. Join me as we embark a journey of reunion, connection, and healing, where the bonds of love transcend the physical realm. Through divinely connected readings, we'll bridge the gap between here and beyond, offering solace, closure, and the comfort of knowing that your loved ones are still with you. I am Angela McClellan, your host and medium, here to reunite you with those who you miss the most. Welcome to the Divinely Connected Podcast.
Your family's breaking my rules already. So when I go over into spirit up, because I'm clairvoyant, I do ask for them to come forward one at a time. I have 4 souls that step forward right from the get-go. I was like, oh, good. So both your parents are departed, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And then I have 2 males, and they're coming through as a contemporary. So is this husbands, brothers, brother-in-laws, cousins? Who would be the 2 males that would be younger than mom and dad?
Well, I have 2 brothers that passed, but I also have my husband that passed.
Okay. But they would have all gotten along, would they? The brothers and the husband?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of banter going on about who's going first. And even though I feel like we want to talk to hubby first, mom is stepping forward. She's taking control of the situation. That's too funny. Oh, that's interesting. So how do you connect to the month of December or Christmas being significant?
Well, I have 2 siblings were born in December.
Perfect. And then also, do you still have your mother's Christmas items? Do you have something of your mother's that you put out specifically at Christmas? Or was Christmas really important to her? Because she's the one that keeps bringing through December, but I keep feeling like I'm decorated.
I do have some of her ornaments.
Perfect. So this is just her way. And what you'll notice throughout the reading as well is that they'll come through with things that we know for sure as evidence, and that will validate not only that they're with you, that they know of how you remember them, but also that I'm interpreting maybe heartfelt messages more correctly as well. Okay. And it's been some time since mom has passed as well.
2002.
Yeah. Because she makes me feel like, and she also makes me feel like there was illness before her departure. You understand that?
Yeah.
Because she just wants to make sure that you know that there is mobility back. When she moves her limbs, that's just my sign and symbol that she had restrictions in the physical form, and that she's back to being in perfect health. And she also makes me feel like she would have been one of those moms that would have been a little bit of that busybody, always in the kitchen, always doing something, because she just keeps puttering around. Okay. She also shows me as well. So do you have her recipes, or do you continue family traditions, especially when it comes to food? How does that come in?
Well, I do have some of her recipes.
Perfect. And so one sign and symbol was her moving about your house just to validate that she's around, but then also stands next to you when you're in the kitchen. So are you a baker? Do you like to bake breads? Are you always in the kitchen?
Well, I'm in the kitchen a lot. I used to bake an awful lot, but
right.
Now that it's me, if I bake, who eats it? Right.
Right. Exactly. Okay, so good.
But like before Christmas, I do, I make, fruitcake, and I'll make rolls and take them to my sons and stuff like that.
Perfect. And it's just their way, even though mom's talking, everybody's standing right behind her. And it's just her way of wanting you to know that she is with you, especially in those seasons, especially during the holidays, because they are difficult. But more importantly, that she knows on how there's a lot of traditions that are just organically passed down through you. Okay. And it is important for you just to know that she's well. She also makes me feel like she wasn't herself before she departed. And so, whether that was some confusion, whether that's medical or medicine wise, she's just saying, like, you need to know I'm clear now. So, however you interpret that.
Yeah,
Okay.
she had strokes.
Okay.
So, and like
Yeah.
there would be times I would be like when they had a hospital bed for her, like I might go down, she might know me, she might not.
Right. Exactly. And so it's so interesting too, because every memory that she is showing me is like much younger versions of the two of you, which is just showing you as well. She goes, this is because we often will focus on, just like you say, how poor her health was or how much she was suffering or how struggling it was. And she's like, we don't even remember that. She just wants to remember like in her prime and those types of memories when the kids were little and that type of thing. Okay.
Right.
And so this is just her way as well as giving you permission and also letting you know that she's at peace on the other side. Okay. Which one out of the husband or the brothers that was a sudden or unexpected departure? They could have been sick, but we just didn't expect them to die when they did.
Well, my husband was very sudden and unexpected.
Okay.
One brother, in a way, it was sudden, but he did have a lot of health issues.
Okay. So how does the husband connect to? So immediately he labors my breathing. So it's something of the chest, heart, lungs, chest, breast, or anxiety. But he also makes me feel like impact. So like, did he have a fall? Was there breathing issues? Because he just
There
makes
was
me go ahead.
there was impact for
Okay.
sure.
Okay. And so you understand that because it's so interesting because he just has me like over there minding my business. And then I feel like there was impact and then I feel like I can't breathe.
What happened? And he was going down to the wharf. He was a lobster fisherman. He went to the wharf a million times, and he used to. That it was November time of the year, and he used to go. A lot of people would go and just fish. I don't know, something off the wharf.
Right.
Forget what to call it.
Yeah.
And anyways, he was going down to the wharf, and I was out that evening, and whatever happened, the truck hit the thing,
Okay.
and so that was the impact.
Okay.
The truck went over the side of the wharf and he drowned.
It went in the water. So that's
So
the
that
breathing.
was the breathing.
Okay. And it's interesting too, because he had me write down the word stubborn. So did you not like him go down there by himself? Because he is like, I knew better. I was told better. So you understand that? Okay. So this is so, and I love it too, because he is definitely at this time coming off as a man of few words, but he was like, I knew better. Don't ever feel as though like you shouldn't have went out that night, or there's like this feeling of the woulda, shoulda, couldas. If I would have called, if I would have went with him, leading up to his decisions to go out that night. Okay. It's interesting as well because he does make me feel like the impact kind of I lost consciousness, but then I also had awareness. But there was no fear, which is interesting to me. Okay. And so as he's bringing me through the departure, he makes me feel like there was the awareness of understanding the situation, but it's almost like he's standing outside of his body watching it happen. Okay. And so this is where the no fear, the no pain, the no struggle comes in. Even if our body's having one reaction, he's showing me that that he is safe with God on the other side as this is happening. Okay. Did you have a loss of a pregnancy, abortion, miscarriage, stillborn, or where does the young soul come in with you? Because he's pulling forth a young soul on the other side just to use as a validation. So did he have a younger brother that passed? Did his mom have a loss? Is there's losses within the family?
Our son, our oldest son,
Yeah.
his wife's first pregnancy, they lost the baby.
Okay. So validating not only that they are together on the other side, but that using that as a validation to validate that I'm interpreting the messages correctly, even though I've never got this feeling before, right? And so I don't even feel like as confident as I would if this was a repeat message. This is kind of the first time that Spirit has communicated with me in this way. Okay. And so it is his way of just wanting to put in a validation there. How do you connect to either his watch, a pocket watch, or that you get the same times, 111, 222, 333, that type of thing?
Well, the 1111 had been kind of a running joke.
Yeah.
It'd be so many times, we might be in bed and then he'd say, what time is it? And I'd look at the clock and it's 11:11. And then after that, after a while, it was like when he'd say, guess what time it is? I'd say 11:11.
I love it. And now you still see it. He says, because he goes, you know what, Ange, there's one thing about me. I'm very set in my ways. Right. And so if the 11:11 was something that was used long ago, he's still using it. He has no plan on changing it.
I do see different times, I might go pick up my phone and just go on it. And I'm like, oh yeah, it's 11:11.
Yeah, exactly. So know that his soul is with you in that exact moment. It's his way of getting you to look at the clock, look at the phone, to make sure that you have that connection to him. Okay. Now, he also wants to talk about your intuition leading up to that night as well. Not only that you have had significant intuitive experience since his departure, but he's saying that there was like something that happened leading up to his departure where it's almost like I'm sitting with you as you're receiving the news. And of course, this is shocking, but I also feel like not shocking at the same time. So that usually means that our intuition is kind of like, I knew something was off, or I knew something. We may not have known what it was, but how do you connect to that intuitive experience before the departure or leading up? Or did you always worry for him that he was going to have an accident? Yeah.
There'd be times he would be on the road drinking, and
right,
like he had been that evening.
Yeah.
And so to him say like I was stubborn and I know I shouldn't have been,
right,
because I say to him, and I used to say like, one of these days you're going to get caught on the breathalyzer, and he'd say, don't say that to me. And
right.
So when he didn't come home that night, that's what I figured had happened. And he said, I'm going down to the wharf. And he said, I'll be back. So I locked the door. So I got home and the garage door was open. The light was on. The door of the house was open. There was stuff on the island. I knew he had been to the store. And I was like,
where's my supper? Exactly.
I got everything ready. And then I did go down to the wharf, but it was dark and I couldn't see anything. So I came, and like by 10 o'clock I went and I shut the lights off in the garage. And morning I had an appointment to get the winter tires on the car because it was November. And he said, I'd take your car and get your tires on. But he said, I'm going to Truro to get the windshield for the tractor. And I said, oh, that's fine. And my appointment was at 8. And I got home and I looked at the phone and there was no call. I just looked up and I said, Billy, if there's something wrong, give me a sign. My brother that's up there.
Yeah.
And he gave me a sign, and then I just said, okay, you got to help me get through this.
Yeah. Wow.
And it was my daughter-in-law and I that found the truck in the upside.
Wow. It's so interesting because he's validating that and validating walking you through that, because he almost has me going through, especially with you and your daughter-in-law going to check the wharf. It was like, you look back in that experience, it was like, why was I so settled? right? Like, why was I so settled knowing what you know and what your intuition is telling you, right? But that's how intuition works. And it's so interesting because when people ask me, how do I know it's my intuition? How do I know that it's just in my head? When you are void of emotions, when it just is what it is, and there's that calmness, that's how you know it's intuition. And so he shows me walking alongside of you. Okay. Was he not wearing a seatbelt?
Well, the cops said he was,
Okay.
but a lot of people used to say that, well, he probably didn't have a seatbelt on.
Right. Right. And so it's interesting on how, because I'm asking him to play through the departure again, asking for clarity on what he already showed me, right? And where I felt, sorry, go ahead.
But I'd love to know, like, what
Right.
the hell happened?
Yeah. And to me, it was this feeling of just not paying attention. Right. And that's almost where I felt the impact made me kind of lose my alertness. But then I felt like as I was in the water, I was alert. And that's where he was showing me. And this is why I don't feel like I'm in a seat. I feel like I'm kind of out of, yeah.
Upside, because the truck went upside down.
Yeah. And so if he had his seatbelt on, he would have wiggled out of it or would have moved out of it. Right, is the feeling that comes in. Now it's interesting. So I said to him, I was like, were you departed before you got into the water? And he said, no, but I was having an outer body experience, which is not uncommon for me to see, because spirit will often show me, especially if they're having a very traumatic or tragic departure, that God does give us the blessing of not being in our body. And it's almost like he was watching his body. And so when we wonder and we worry about what those final moments were like, they were of peace because he was already on the other side. And it's interesting because he must have had friends that were already departed at that time, at least one in addition to your brother, because I see two men standing with him in spirit as they were watching the departure. Okay. And
well, like
somebody
two of my brothers have departed.
Before your husband?
Oh, yes.
Okay. So there was your brothers that would have been with him. And one of them also had something of the heart, is how they're bringing that through. Okay. So whether there was heart issues, a heart attack, heart complications.
Yeah. The oldest brother was the heart.
Perfect. And so that is just validating that he wasn't alone and that your family was with him. And people go, well, why wasn't his family? That they are worried about you, right? And so they step forward to make sure that you know that they were taking care of him, because they want to bring you comfort and peace in knowing that. Okay. He also says as well, I mean, he's so funny because you would have had the services and everything, correct? He goes, holy fuck, she saw everyone. Like, they were legitimately upset. And it was like he didn't know how beloved he was. You know what I mean? And so not only with the services, he says, listen, you need to know that you made all the right decisions on my behalf. Okay. And so everything that you have decided, then in sense, know that he brings through approval for each and everything. He also says he wants, and he goes, she's not going to believe this, Angela, because I'm not like that. But you need to tell her that I say thank you for giving me the life that you gave me. He goes, because she loved me better than I deserved, is what he says. Okay, he gives me the goosebumps on that. And he goes, okay, that's enough. But that would be him, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Do you still have what is that? So you still have multiple pieces of his clothing, because he's putting pants on me and he's putting a shirt on. And so is this a pajama set, or you just have still have a lot of his pieces?
There's an awful lot of his t-shirts.
Good.
And there is a pair of jogging pants in the closet.
Perfect. And so just know that he's using that as a validation to validate that I interpreted the heartfelt messages correctly, but more importantly, that he is with you and that he knows moving about the day. Because he says sometimes you just take them out and you just refold them, right? Letting you know that his soul is with you in that exact moment. Okay. How do you connect to the flooring? So when they change out the flooring, that is, you just you want to change your flooring, you've changed your flooring, there needs to be a repair, or you just put down a rug.
I need to paint flooring in the basement.
Perfect. And so just know that he's using that as well. Every time you go in the basement, you think, Jesus, I have to paint this. Know that his soul is there with you at this exact moment, okay? And this is just his way of wanting to make sure that you know that he's okay, that he's with God, but more importantly, that he's still with you, okay? Do you go to church?
I haven't, well, I used to before COVID, but it's very sporadic since COVID.
How else would you connect to sitting on a bench? So is there a bench that you go and you sit on? Is there a bench dedicated to your husband? Is there a bench down at the wharf? Because that was like the feeling. I'm like either sitting in a pew or I'm sitting on a bench is the type of feeling that he brought me to.
Not sitting at the rink.
Oh, that could be it. And so this is again just his way of wanting you to know that he knows of life. Okay. Where does the party come in? Was there just like a reception or is there a party coming up? Because I feel like I'm in a hall, like, you know, one of those hall types parties. So is this like a shower, a New Year's Eve party, like a anniversary thing? Where does that come in? Or do you like go to the hall to play darts?
Is it something that's supposed to be coming up?
Well, he's just using it as a validation. So what they'll do is often give me images or they'll put me in certain areas. And after he kind of took me out of that seated area, he then put me in what I would interpret as a hall, like a reception hall.
Like I'm invited to somebody's birthday party on Sunday and it's going to be in a fire hall.
Perfect. Right? And this is just his way of he's keeping tabs on you. This is just his way of wanting you to know that he knows of your life. Right?
Okay.
And his way of just wanting you to know that he supports you in all that you do. Now, he also, and I don't know if you have a new boyfriend yet, but he does bring through supports in a new companionship, a new relationship for you. And so whether that's now or that's something that's coming in, he is giving you the blessing to do so. Know that he would not feel disrespected or forgotten, that he would want you to have partnership in this life. Okay.
Well, he hasn't come yet, and I keep telling Carl to send him.
There you go. Well, you know what? I don't feel like he's far off, to tell you the truth. I wouldn't be surprised if that's on your 2024 bingo card for this year. And it is, and it's someone that's a little bit extroverted that likes to go and do things, whether it's like going out for supper or going to the movies, like whatever it is. It's just something really nice to be like on the go and have someone to spend time with. And so that seems to be coming in, like I said, around the corner. Because when spirit will make me feel like it's already here, because there is no time on the other side, if it's not already here, then it's like coming right in. It's not far off.
And I did have a partner and a question mark.
Already got that.
Is he sending him?
He is, and it's interesting too because a lot of the times when the hubby picks out the new guy, there will be some sort of connection, like it may be like a mutual friend, or it's not. They don't know each other. Is the feeling that comes in. So it's like clean slate. He goes, can't replace this anyways, Inch. And he may be a little bit younger than you, so open up those minds and expectations. Is one of your sons named after him, or who's named after him? The grandson?
No, well, the two grandsons has his second name.
Good. Do you have more than one son?
I have two.
Okay. So he wants me to address the adult son, and then he draws the line to him. So one, knowing of the grandchildren, watching over the grandchildren. That's one sign, one message, right? The namesakes. But he also, when they draw the line, that either means they share a name, they look alike, or they have the same type of personality. So which one of the two sons?
Which one of the two grandsons would have the same?
No, of your sons,
Okay. I think the youngest would have a bit more of his personality.
Good. So he wants to address the youngest and just showing how I think that he's still struggling with dad's departure. Like that's the feeling that comes in. There's this feeling of I keep my cards close to my chest, but he keeps wanting to go and wrap him up in bubble wrap, which is my sign and symbol that he protects him. He protects everyone, but extra protection here. So if you have worries over him, that would be him validating hearing your prayers, right? But more importantly, that there's a strong feeling of woulda, shoulda, couldas connected to communication. And so whether this is for the son, it's particularly hard that he didn't get to say goodbye, or conversations before the departure wasn't what he would have wanted, or however he interprets the woulda, shoulda, couldas against connected to communication or the lack of. And your husband keeps showing me water on the bridge, which means like do not carry this. Everything is fine type of thing. Okay. And his way of watching over him and wanting him to know, has he since been married? What was his milestone? Because he's acknowledging milestones for the son since your husband passed.
Okay, it must be the oldest boy then.
Okay. Yep. So just bringing through the validations, I feel like both of them could take that. Yeah. It's so interesting too, because I feel like your husband is so, like, to me it feels like he cares so deeply, but he plays it down. Right? Like he keeps playing it down. And so I'm like, my God, I said to him, I'm like, you're really doing a great job looking after them and looking over them. And he just brushes me off, right? Because he does make me feel like that since he has departed, things have been shaping up and shipping out. Things that need to fall away, blessings that need to come are coming in. And in a time of chaos, there then became order. And and that's because of him. Even though he's playing it down, it's his way of wanting to show gratitude for you and for the family, because it was it was the most love I have ever felt in my life. Right. And so he's going to continue watching over. And like you say, very on the sly, you know, he is more active and has more influence than he's letting you guys know. Right? Because he just wants to do it under the radar. Doesn't want to make no fuss, just wants to do you guys right, is the feeling, because he's very loyal like that, right? And so this is just the feeling that comes in. And again, because it's interesting, because I'm like, well, tell me more. He's private, because usually I have an inkling it's because of the way that he was raised, although he's not letting me go there. But he makes me feel like, because of the love that you gave him, this unconditional love and the love from the family, that's all that he wants to focus on. And I get the feeling like he never had that before, that what he has with you. So the way that you love and the way that you show up was not the way that they did before you came along, right? The way that his family did. And so this is just his way of bringing through such deep appreciation for you. He also says as well, so okay, okay, so you still have lots of pictures up, because one, I want to address what I would say is like a wedding photo or like an anniversary photo. But then he goes, but then I'm there and I'm there and I'm over there too. And so just know that as you look upon them, that you talk to them and you move around the house, especially one that I feel like you say good morning to and say good night to, that his soul is with you in that exact moment. Okay. And he goes, where else would I be? Where else would I be? Right. And so just wanting to validate you feeling him throughout the home as well. Now, he also shows me the salt and pepper shaker, which means a few things. You either just got new ones, just refilled your salt and pepper, or that you have somebody's salt and pepper shaker that was passed down.
I have his grandmother's.
Perfect. So using it as a validation, validating not only that you have it, and also that I'm interpreting the messages correctly, but more importantly that he's with you.
Okay. Ask him if he put my earrings somewhere so I would find them.
Your earrings?
If he
Can you not find them?
I did, but it was weird.
In a weird spot. But he goes, that's not the only things that I've been moving. So there's other things that are being moved
for I'm sure over a year, that I was everywhere.
Yeah.
And one day it was like there's no way I put them there.
Yeah.
But at least I found them. So
Yeah, exactly. But him validating that, because he just says the TV remote goes, the phone goes. So this is something that he does. He'll bring through a validation to validate that that was him as well.
and I think, what did I do with it?
Am I losing my mind? I think your loved ones did an amazing job coming through for you tonight. I love that everyone showed up at first, but then let your hubby take over. They just wanted to make sure that they were included, and they came and said hi. And I always say, wherever you feel one, you feel them all anyway. So if you're getting all your signs and symbols from your husband, know that mom and brother and dad are all there as well, right? Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
Oh my God. Awesome. Well, listen, it's been such a pleasure, Helen. Thank you so much for allowing me to do this for you. Awesome. All right, Helen, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining me on this journey of connection and love. As we conclude another episode, I want to express my deepest gratitude to you. To be able to do this work, it is a profound privilege for me. I have learned so much through my connections with you in spirit. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of your spiritual journey. And thank you for being a part of mine. Remember, the connections with your departed loved ones are timeless and eternal. May the messages shared here bring you comfort, healing, and a renewed sense of hope. I'll leave that with you. May you walk in the light of love and know that you are always divinely connected. I am Angela McClellan, your host and medium, sending you light and love always.